coming at you from Sacred Mysteries, Temple Quarantine, Pandemic Edition. We are still in the midst of the pandemic. Things are easing up. I'm over here on the East Coast and near the hotbed of what's going on in New York City, but we're not going to get into all of that today. I wanted to continue discussing about meditation, keeping yourself calm, relieving the stress, and enjoying the time that you have inside while you stay safe and you can develop some new skills in the meditation process. So this is something that I wanted to give to everyone during this time. You know, a lot of times people ask me, how do you stay so calm? Well, meditation is one of the things that help me stay centered and calm. It allows me to understand how to take a breath and how to take a pause and how to let that breath and pause permeate throughout the entire me, so that when I take in things that are stressful or experiencing things that are stressful, you know, I can manage them a lot better. That doesn't mean I don't get stressed. It doesn't mean I don't get upset. I'm human, we all do. But I'm able to better manage it and let it fall by the wayside instead of staying in me and being something that will produce negative results, you know, illness, depression, sadness, anger, all of those things that don't feel good. We want to, you know, if we can have tools that will allow us to experience those things but know that we can get past those things quicker than usual, then that's the tool I want, and that's the tool I've taken on, and I wanted to definitely share it with others. So what we did in the first two, this is the third video about it, but what we did in the first two was we did the basic meditation for those who are just beginning, which was fourfold breathing, focusing on the breath so that you can block everything else out. Now, hopefully those of you who have seen the video before, you have been practicing and utilizing that. The second installment was the use of chanting, mantras, words of power in your meditation, also allowing you to push out and other distractions, bring a sense of relaxation, utilize your breath in the relaxation process, and then also incorporating words of power, mantras from the Hindu tradition, which they are sacred sounds. They're not words and sentences chanted over and over again in your native language. They are Sanskrit words from the ancient people of India, and they actually produce a certain energetic effect that will help you to align with what the mantra is about. So you do have a loose translation. We went over that in the second video. Now this third video is just going to kind of bring those two together at the end. We'll do a little meditating for briefly, and then also move on to the understanding of the states of awareness. Now there are 4 states of awareness if you're looking at the ancient Hindu and the Vedic, which is there's, you know, same people, different times that they were actually dominating in India. But if you take that those states of awareness, that makes you understand how the human consciousness operates. And they've done a lovely way of breaking it down where we can actually understand it. The states of awareness are something that we all experience as humans. When I explain them, you're going to immediately recognize what they are. The first state of awareness is called Dharana, which we all know as the waking state. This is the state where we're aware of everything that goes on around us. We're very externally focused. We're engaging in our daily activities, which requires us to be externally focused so that we can interact and we can get through all of our tasks and our responsibilities of the day. This is the state where we spend a dominant amount of our time. You know, from the moment we start moving about during the day, we are in Dharana. And Dharana is sort of all of them are automatic, but this is really an automatic state. It keeps you safe, it keeps you aware, and this is where we are functioning out of mostly. Meditation is about getting out of the Dharana state into a higher state of awareness, or a more internal state of awareness, so that we can then begin to manage our emotions and our energies. During the Dharana state, this is where all of our five senses are most interactive. That's where we experience sight, smell, taste, feeling, touch, and the all of the five senses are involved in the state of Dharana. The context through which we experience Dharana is heavily influenced by our immediate society, the society that we grew up in, and by the cultural context. That's how we experience Dharana, our awake state. Moving on to state of awareness number 2. Now, this one is called Dhyana, and it is a dreamy like state. It is a daydreamy state, to be more exact, where you're not so much externally focused. You're sort of, thinking about things. You're not as externally aware. You may be, let's say, an example, sitting on a bus, and you don't have to be so aware that you can't go within to your internal thoughts. So you're thinking about things that you have to do. Your mind is moving forward, or you're thinking about past things, or you're just thinking about desires or the book you read, things like that. But it takes you somewhat away from external awareness totally, but not totally, only a bit. And then it brings you into a little more internal, to a daydreamy state. And this is a state of awareness that is extremely conducive for meditation, because that is the beginning of where meditation takes place. Once you start to do your breathing, and once you start to slow it down, sit still, and focus within, that is your state of awareness number 2, called Dhyana, and it is known as the daydreamy state. In your daydreamy state, your senses, you're not as aware through your senses as you would be in your awakened state in Dharana. In Dhyana, you're pulled back from your external awareness, and you're starting to go within, and those thoughts are starting to be internally focused, and you're going from one connected thought to the next connected thought. In this daydreamy state, you're able to set up an internal world, with your imagination, recalling things that you're thinking about, and also, making things up, thinking about how things could be in the future. So you're starting to kind of construct a more mental internal world in this daydreamy state. The next state of awareness is called a samadhi, and that is a state of awareness where you are totally absorbed into the object of your concentration. So that means your awareness of anything external is gone. And it could happen, it could last for maybe a few seconds, but when you come back out of samadhi, which is being at one mint with the thought, the object of your thought, it may have seemed like way longer than that. It could have seemed like hours or more, several minutes, or, something longer than what it actually was, because you were totally absorbed. A sense of time, space is just totally lost, because you are absorbed into that thought. And it is known as the yoking of the becoming at one with the object of your concentration. And in a meditation, especially when you're using either seed thoughts, you're thinking about a certain attribute that you would like to manifest within yourself, this is where you want to go. You want to become at one with it, because when you become at one with it, there's an all-knowing about it. So, you and that object of concentration become at one. And when you're at the moment of at-one-ment, you are completely in the knowing of what it is, and it becomes a part of who you are. And so for some, many people call it the blissful state, especially when you're contemplating on the divine creator. When you become at one with the divine creator, then that is total bliss right there. But we're talking about meditation, and meditating on becoming less stressful, and we're not really on that, talking about the path of self-realization and becoming at one with the divine creator. We're dealing with techniques that are helping us survive and enduring stressful times. And so you want to actually become, use the seed thoughts that you're using in your meditation to be at peace, to be calm, and whatever other goals that you have, that is what you want to become at one with, so that you yoke that experience, that feeling, that, all of that knowingness of what that is, and it becomes a part of you. So when you come out of the state of awareness, you can revisit that knowing at any time because you've had that experience. So that is the state of samadhi. Now, there is also what we call the dream state, is when you're actually sleeping and you've gone into your dream state. And that is a whole nother, state of awareness that is even, that's another state of awareness that is not really relevant to what we're doing, because we're discussing meditation, being sitting up or laying down and purposely meditating and not dealing with sleep. But sometimes we fall asleep during meditation, I'll admit. I've done that. But and so the dream state is another state of awareness, and then that is a whole nother experience there, where if you practice lucid dreaming, then you become in control of your dream state and you can accomplish certain things there. But that's another topic for another day. I just wanted to introduce that here to you. So we've gone over the first state of awareness, which is Dharana, which is your external, your awake state, a state of awareness where you function at, like right now I'm in Dharana because I'm doing all of this and I'm managing different things. I'm speaking and I'm, bringing myself to you through this video. So I have to be in the state of a Dharana for that. So any functioning throughout the day, that's Dharana. Now, your next state of awareness, where you start to pull back from that physical awareness, is called Dhyana, which is a dreamy-like state, a daydreamy state, I like to call it. That is when you are pulled back from being so external. You still have all of your five senses, going, but they're not as focused externally. You are now internally. So your sense awareness starts to pull back from the external world and be turned inward. So that is called dhyana, and that is the beginning stages of meditation. After you've done your breathing, you go into dhyana, and that's where you pretty much stay during your meditation until you actually go into samadhi, which is meaning being at one-ment with the object of your focus, which could be one of the mantras we went over in video 2. It could be one of the affirmations, or the fourfold breathing, getting in touch with, more in touch with your body and what's going on. You can yoke with that as well. You can go into the samadhi state with that. But you want to be purposeful with that, because I have to say that we do unknowingly go into samadhi throughout the day. And a lot of times it's becoming at one with something that is not as healthy, or, something that's not as healthy. So you want to become more aware of where your mind is going and how you are going into that state of at one-ment with an object of thought. So let's say you're so angry and you don't, you come back from that anger and you don't know the passing of time. You're not aware that anything, of anything that happened previously to you coming back to your normal state or not as angry state. So that is very important, because we're becoming at one with anger. So anger is becoming something that is too familiar to us and too easy for us to go back to, because we have become at one with that. So throughout the day, we're doing this with different things. So becoming aware of these states of awareness is really helpful in managing our psyche. So these are the tools I wanted to give to you today. The awareness, the information about states of awareness, and how they operate and what you can accomplish in each state. We'll do some one round of fourfold breathing, then we'll go into chanting Om, and then we're going to close it out. So here we go. Fourfold breathing, feet flat, back, shoulders back, arch back if it's comfortable. If not, have a pillow back there, feet flat on the ground, hands on top of each thigh. Relax. If this is not relaxed for you, please, if you have a condition, a physical condition, and this is not comfortable for you, sit how it's most comfortable. But the idea is to not constrict your breath so that it can freely flow, because once you breathe in, you are filling up your lungs, and then when you're breathing out, you're letting the air out. So you want to be able to do that completely in each cycle, because it helps you to relax and go into Dharana. So here we go. I'm going to count first, and then we will start to, then I will close my eyes, and then we'll go into the breathing. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe in, out, in, and out. Now we will chant Om. Bring yourself back into the room if you followed along with me. And as you can see, I'm at a much more relaxed state just by doing 4 rounds of fourfold breath, and then chanting Om 4 times. So I'm completely in that relaxed state. So if I were to continue longer, I would relax more and more and more. And then I would take advantage of that state of awareness to focus on seed thoughts like I am that I am, or whatever it is for you. It could be, I'm at peace. Some of the other mantras I went through in the earlier video could also be of help, or the affirmations. And one thing I do want to mention about what's important when meditating is that you wait, if you've had a big meal, you wait at least an hour after that big meal to meditate. If you've had something to drink, you want to wait anywhere from 15 minutes to a half an hour before you meditate, because the digestion of your body, the process of digestion is very strong. It's powerful, so it pulls you into that function. That's the most important function going on. So it becomes a little harder to meditate and to go within. So we allow that process to get going and get through as much as possible before we actually try to meditate. So I wanted to give you that tip because it's extremely important to successful meditation. So anyway, that's it for today. I just wanted to give you that part of meditation. If there's any other aspects of meditation that you want to know about, please leave it in the comments, or you can email me at the.rev.mignon, mignon @gmail.com with any questions.